Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are decoding the century-long success story of literally one of the most recognizable brands on Earth. We're going to extract pure, actionable business lessons from the incredible history of Coca-Cola, showing you exactly how a simple, local syrup transformed into an absolute global empire.
Think about the number one for a second. It's the holy grail, right? Every marketer wants it. Well, from a humble pharmacy invention, Coca-Cola engineered a virtually unmatched distribution network to achieve a truly omnipresent scale. They are number one in global recognition. And trust me, it didn't happen by accident. Let's dive in.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the birth of a beverage brand, move into building the iconic identity, look at the World War II global expansion, explore the Cola Wars and legendary marketing, touch on adapting to consumer trends, and finally wrap up with a masterclass in global business.
All right, Section 1, Birth of a Beverage Brand.
Every empire has to start somewhere. But actually, just inventing a great product, that's not the same as building a great business. Back in 1886, a pharmacist named John S. Pemberton created the original Coca-Cola formula. But honestly, it was just a local pharmacy novelty back then. The real magic happened in the eras that followed, through the 1890s, the 40s, the 80s, and today, where aggressive scaling and adaptation truly built the whole shebang.
The real game changer here was Asa Candler. He was the visionary who grabbed this localized Atlanta drink and turned it into a national powerhouse. Candler relentlessly used some pretty aggressive marketing and really shrewd financial strategies to get this stuff into literally everyone's hands. He essentially pioneered ubiquitous marketing, basically making sure you couldn't even walk down a street without seeing his brand.
Moving on to Section 2, Building the Iconic Identity. Okay, so getting the product out there was great, but it wasn't enough. They had to stand out in a total sea of imitators. Enter the contour bottle. This is just a massive, absolutely crucial lesson in physical branding. The brief was simple but honestly genius. Design a bottle so distinct you could recognize it just by feeling it in the dark, or even if it was completely shattered on the ground. It grounded an abstract brand identity into a physical, unforgettable shape. Section 3, World War II Global Expansion. So as the brand was conquering America, an unprecedented global conflict provided, kind of a surprising catalyst for international dominance. Coca-Cola committed to supplying American soldiers worldwide, which was an absolute logistical marvel. They built bottling plants overseas just to ensure every single soldier got a bottle for 5 cents no matter where they were deployed. It was a total masterstroke. They cemented the brand as this global symbol of home while essentially getting the U.S. military to help lay the groundwork for their massive post-war distribution network.
That brings us to Section 4, Cola Wars and legendary marketing.
Every great hero's journey needs a compelling villain, or at least a really fierce rival. When Pepsi leaned into this aggressive, youthful, punch-in-the-mouth market competition, it forced Coke to react. They had to double down on emotional, globally unifying campaigns. It's a perfect example of how intense competition doesn't actually destroy you, it sharpens your brand identity and fuels innovation like crazy. To counter those threats, they launched some of the biggest marketing campaigns in human history, really tapping into pure emotion. Fun fact here, they actually helped shape our modern, cheerful, red-suited image of Santa Claus through their winter ads. No way, right? Then came that legendary "I'd like to buy the world a Coke" campaign. At that point, they weren't even selling a sugary drink anymore. They were literally selling unity, happiness, and shared global experiences.
By the late 1980s, the whole corporate battleground was pretty much defined by these legendary marketing wars. It was a wildly tense, high-stakes era for executives. You have to imagine, every single ad, every product launch was a calculated chess move, pushing the brand to ruthlessly refine its messaging for an insanely demanding market.
All right, Section 5, Adapting to Consumer Trends.
But winning the marketing war wasn't the final chapter, because even triumphant empires eventually have to face shifting cultural tides. The modern era forced a really hard pivot. The company couldn't just rely on 80s nostalgia forever. They had to strategically navigate rising global health concerns, aggressive sugar taxes, and a massive systemic shift in consumer preferences toward healthier lifestyles. So what was their survival strategy? Aggressive diversification. They didn't just stubbornly go down with the ship, sticking to classic soda. Instead, they expanded massively. We're talking bottled water, sports drinks, coffee, tea, and a whole slew of zero-sugar options. They engineered this brilliant pivot,
transforming from a single product monolith right into a total beverage company.
And this diversification, it was incredibly successful for one very specific reason. They could just plug all these new beverages directly into their existing world-class cold distribution network. Think about that local ice cooler at the beach, or the vending machine at your office. They already owned the physical cooler space globally. All they had to do was swap out what went inside it.
Which leads us nicely into Section 6, Masterclass in Global Business.
Now that we've seen this incredible history unfold, let's distill the whole thing into 5 actionable pillars. First up, master your visual identity. Make it as distinct as that contour bottle. Second, maintain unwavering consistency over decades. Third, build unmatched distribution logistics. Get your product right within arm's reach of desire. Fourth, forge a deep emotional connection to what you sell. And fifth, maintain an agile global strategy so you can adapt to trends before they destroy you.
It ultimately boils down to this thought. It's a global empire built on the pillars of branding, consistency, distribution, and emotional marketing. Because massive success isn't just about having a good product, not at all. It's really about the meticulous, emotional, and consistent story you tell about that product over decades, and making sure it's backed up by absolutely flawless logistics.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. As you look at your own business ventures, your projects, or even your personal brands today, ask yourself, how can you leverage these exact principles, distinct branding, emotional connection, and relentless distribution, to turn your local idea into a global phenomenon? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through business history, and I will catch you in the next explainer.